Happening now, 3 men are behind bars following a shooting yesterday in Jamestown, the latest in the case. And a lawsuit has been filed connected to a new condo project in Mayville, plus the new effort underway to help homeowners fix up their sidewalks in Jamestown.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. The latest local news is coming up, but first, a check of our weather forecast. And the story today, Dakota, seems to be wet and windy conditions above.
Yes, it is. Today is going to be wet, windy. It's just going to be kind of almost everything but the kitchen sink through the day today. You can see on the radar we've had these rain showers moving on through, and these are going to continue through the afternoon hours, so it will be a wet go. But understand, it's not going to be raining everywhere all day. And again, there will be some pockets of dry time in between, but not much. Now, just issued about 10 minutes ago, we do have a wind advisory now that is in place for Chautauqua County, and this starts right now and will stay in effect until 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. We are talking about wind gusts potentially upwards of 50 miles an hour, and the best chance for that will be along the Lake Erie shoreline. 47 was the high yesterday. That's 1 degree above normal. 36 is where we started the day. 79 and 1 below are the records. So through the afternoon, numerous widespread rain showers. Somewhat mild, though. This is above average, 46 to 54, but look at this wind with some gusts, especially through the afternoon, 35 to 40, but the wind does kick up through the evening hours. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, along with that Ultimate Satellite Solutions 7-day forecast later in the show, Justin.
All right, Dakota, we'll see you back in a bit. Thank you, sir. 3 people were arrested and charged in connection with a shooting in downtown Jamestown on Tuesday afternoon. Jamestown police were called to the area of West 6th Street at Jefferson Street around 2 in the afternoon. They say it was reported that the 2 suspects in 2 separate vehicles engaged gunfire before driving off in separate directions. One of the vehicles was later located in an address on Summit Avenue, and police report it was found to have a bullet hole in the hood. Their investigation led to that vehicle being stopped on Pershing at Baker Street at about 3, where a passenger in the vehicle fled on foot and was not apprehended. 3 other suspects remained in the vehicle. 2 loaded pistols were also recovered inside. Alan Jackson and Arakiel Gaskin were taken into custody and charged with criminal possession of a weapon. Later in the day, police received a tip of a suspect matching the description of the man running through a backyard in the area. Officers located a loaded handgun in the yard where he was observed. A New York State Police canine then tracked him down to a residence on Summit Avenue where he was hiding in a garage. That suspect, later identified as 21-year-old Joel Coleman, was taken into custody. And a renewed push to replace tree-damaged sidewalks are underway now in the city of Jamestown. Our Bronson Rasmussen with more from the newsroom today.
Director of Public Works Jeffrey Lehman is working with city residents to roll out $100,000 in American Rescue Plan funds to launch a program that gives rebates to homeowners to replace sidewalks that are damaged by trees.
If the tree's been removed and you've got a raised sidewalk block that's in front of your house, what we're talking about is giving $6 per square foot toward that block, which should entice homeowners to get the blocks fixed.
Homeowners would submit an application for the program and then go forward with the process of replacing the sidewalk.
They can come in, get the list, contact a contractor, get a price. They come in, the contractor comes in, gets a permit, and once the project's completed to the city standard, which is pretty straightforward, we go out, we inspect it, and then you'd get the check in the mail for however many blocks you replaced.
Currently, there are countless sidewalks in the city that have faced tree-related problems.
They're citywide. I'll bet you every other house probably has one of these in front of them.
The initiative is similar to the city's normal sidewalk replacement program. Both applications can be found on their website at jamestowny.gov. In the newsroom, Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
Bronson, thank you. A regional financial institution has ceased development of a new condominium project in Mayville. That's according to a lawsuit filed by Lakeshore Paving in Chautauqua County Supreme Court. The company is suing the lodge at Chautauqua Lake Project and those associated with the build for lack of payment on work already completed at that site. In February, the suit says the developers were notified by Bank of Erie that they will not issue a loan for construction and that project could not move forward. The company is suing developers for $127,000 to retain compensation for work already completed there. In July 2021, the Webb Hospitality Group, headed by Ben Webb, held a groundbreaking ceremony on the site. The plan was to build out 21 new condo units on the site along Route 394 in Mayville. In addition to private loan funding, that project received money from a county revolving door loan and various tax breaks from the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency. And Wegmans has recalled several pre-cut fruits due to potential contamination with listeria. Here's a list of the items that are in question. They range from watermelon chunks to pineapple spears to the melon trio pack. Many have a best buy date of March 15th to March 22nd. If you purchased any of these products, you can simply return them to the Wegmans customer service desk for a refund. As WNY News Now continues, the latest in election 2022. We're sitting down with our state senator who's vying for re-election this fall. And later, some good news for the craft beer industry here in New York State. Stay with us as WNY News Now continues on this wet, windy, and rainy Wednesday afternoon.
With coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Welcome to Honest John's Pizzeria, where you are the most important customer.
Everything from freshly made subs to the best of pizza and wings, Honest John's has it all.
And don't forget the ice cream!
Order online today or check out our 2 great locations with buffets ready for every appetite.
Don't I have the best job in the world?
Celebrate the end of school and say hello to summer with a day of fun activities for children in the Jamestown area, hosted by Collaborative Children's Solutions and the City of Jamestown. The first part of the day happens at Northwest Arena, where both kids and parents alike can learn about activities available to youth. Later in the evening, finish out the night at the Tarp Skunk baseball game, along with a fireworks show at Russell Dietrich Jr. Park. Stop on down on Friday, June 24th, as we celebrate the end of school and say hello to summer.
Home fires occur most often in winter. Keep anything that can catch fire at least 3 feet from heating equipment. And never use an oven to heat your home. Stay in the kitchen when frying, grilling, or broiling food. Turn space heaters off when you leave the room or go to bed. Make sure all vents are clear of snow and ice to allow carbon monoxide to vent outside. Have your furnace, heating system, and chimneys serviced each year by a qualified professional. Learn more at www.usfa.fema.gov.
Brought to you by the Chautauqua Safety Village and the Jamestown Fire Department.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
The race for New York State Senate District 57 is well underway as incumbent George Borrello is sharing his outlook on the race and his goals for moving forward into the new election year. Our Julia Gress has more from the longtime candidate.
Republican George Borrello entered into politics to make sure the voices of small business owners were heard and to advocate for the region. He explained that this is what he was trying to do to help businesses recover from the pandemic.
Well, unfortunately, New York State lags behind almost every other state in recovery from the pandemic, and largely due because the policies that were in place during the pandemic and the height of the pandemic were so restrictive. We had a state legislature that was very comfortable ceding all of their power to Andrew Cuomo. And despite multiple attempts by myself and others to take away those emergency powers, they were met with failure.
The senator continued that the state is the least friendly to do business in, most expensive to live in, and has the most oppressive laws and regulations, which drives New Yorkers to leave the state. The imbalance in the state Senate has resulted in higher costs and dangerous streets, according to Borrello. He believes that the only way to end the volatile divide is by regaining the balance in the Senate.
I've been an advocate for suspending the gasoline tax. Keep in mind that it's not just about putting gas in your car, it's about putting gas in trucks and farm equipment and everything else. It has a cascading negative effect on exacerbating inflation.
Borrello also highlighted the strain energy regulations in the state have put on gas prices, saying that the lack of transition from fossil fuels to renewable energy has put us in a vulnerable position.
We used to have the idea that we were going to use natural gas as a bridge fuel as we transition to renewable energy. That was taken off the table by Andrew Cuomo. And in fact, we shut down the Dunkirk NRG plant, which was not only the largest taxpayer in Chautauqua County, but also made us energy independent.
The state's aim to lower its greenhouse gas emissions has failed in Borrello's eyes, since 25% of the state's energy is imported from a coal plant in Pennsylvania, which leaves a higher carbon footprint than producing the energy in-state with natural gas. The candidate also emphasized his stance on bail reform.
Many of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle are talking about bail reform being changed, but they're not taking action. And I can tell you that because I myself have led what are called hostile amendments on the floor of the state Senate to repeal bail reform. And when we do that, every single Democrat votes no.
The senator continued with the importance of voting this fall, saying that who you choose will make a big impact on how this battle proceeds.
It's going to have to take a grassroots effort from everyone in New York State who understands that New York State is a much more violent place, because the folks that presented bail reform have said that they are not making any changes.
Making strides in the economic recovery from the pandemic is on Borrello's agenda if re-elected, saying that unemployment programs started during the pandemic should no longer be available. Additionally, the insurance deficit must be filled. Borrello says regardless of political party, he hopes voters will assess what is best for their family and future in New York. Julia Gress, WNY News Now.
Julia, thank you. Our full interview with Senator Borrello is posted on WNY News Now's YouTube page and channel 716 on Roku. On Tuesday, petitions launched for those looking to run for Jamestown School Board of Education. The current term for 2 board seats expires on June 30th, with those running for office vying for a 3-year term. When submitting a petition, it must contain the names of 100 or more qualified voters. These are due at the superintendent's office on Martin Road by 5 o'clock on Wednesday, April 27th. In addition to the school board election, on Tuesday, May 17th, voters in Jamestown will also take action on the proposed school budget. Before the school election day, a budget presentation is slated to take place on Tuesday, May 10th. That's at 6 o'clock in the Jamestown High School auditorium. And craft beverage manufacturing businesses in New York will now be able to sell beverages while their liquor license is pending. These new permits can generally be processed and approved in less than 30 days, compared to applications for new licenses that currently take an average of 6 months. The permits allow businesses to manufacture and sell alcohol beverages to a period of 6 months or until the full application is approved for a fee of just $125. The new permits may be extended for a 3-month period for an additional $50 fee if necessary. And the Environmental Conservation Committee of the New York State Assembly has voted to advance legislation that would establish a moratorium on proof-of-work authentication message for blockchain cryptocurrency mining for operations such as power plants that generate their own electricity using carbon-based fuels. If the moratorium legislation becomes law, the state would not approve new applications or permits to utilize a carbon-based fuel to generate the behind-the-meter electric energy to mine cryptocurrency using a proof-of-work method to validate blockchain transactions for a period of 2 years. Now, additionally, the state would not approve applications or permits to renewal during that 2-year period. If someone is going to sneak into your bridal photo, you might want to be this guy. Actor Tom Hanks gave a Pennsylvania bride the ultimate surprise. Wedding photographer Rachel Rowland says the bride was about to hop into a limo when nice guy Tom Hanks walked up and asked to take a photo with her. He posed for a few shots, congratulated everyone, and then just like that, Forrest Gump ran out of there. Hanks is in Pittsburgh shooting a movie called A Man Called Onto. He plays a retiree who becomes friends with his neighbors. Certainly some good news to share. Coming up, we check in with our U.S. Capitol correspondent who's spending the week in Poland as the Ukrainian refugee crisis deepens. We're looking at pets who are fleeing that country too. But first, when we return, a full look at our weather forecast. Stay with us. WNY News Now will be right back.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing. After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense Weather.
What's your favorite Tom Hanks movie? Now, I was trying to look it up during the commercial, but I believe Tom Hanks starred in Cheaper by the Dozen, did he not? I think so. Yes, I believe so. So anyway, getting into my job, something that I know more about than movies, the Warren Skycam showing you we're starting to see some of the rain down in Warren right now, and this is going to continue through the afternoon hours across much of the entire region. And wanted to talk about precip types because yeah, we're going to be getting into some wintry mix and then ultimately some snow, as we go into the weekend. So what determines precip type is where that warm air is up aloft. If it's down low, we're ultimately going to have rain. If it's stuck somewhere in the middle, freezing rain or sleet, or if it's all cold, it comes down as snow. Remember, all precipitation starts as snow in the cloud. It determines where that warm air is down low as to what you get down here. 41 as a noon hour. It's windy. Southwest wind of a south wind of 17, a wind gust at 24, and the wind is going to pick up as we go through the afternoon. So the trash can window meter, yeah, your trash can's probably going to be next door, or you might even have to look for it. And that'll be the case, especially tomorrow morning if your garbage day is tonight, because yeah, those winds are really going to come up through the evening hours. First Defense Doppler showing you that rain. Now where you see the yellows, that starts to indicate maybe some heavy amounts of rainfall, but I wouldn't be a bit surprised if some of this yellow is actually some ice pellets. Wouldn't be a bit surprised with that because ice is highly reflective, so it has a higher value on the radar. And here's where all the rain is coming from. The storm system back to our west. This is in association with a warm front. This warm front's going to push through tomorrow, and that's really going to surge temperatures close to 60 through the day tomorrow. So future scan showing you those rain showers, and we are going to see some moderate to heavy downpours, especially through the late afternoon and to the evening hours. Another round of moderate to heavy rain could contain some scattered thunderstorms, especially through the evening hours tonight. So yeah, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we hear a couple rumbles of thunder. Tomorrow, I do think we will start to turn a little bit drier, but we are going to see at least a few scattered showers. Then here comes the wintry mix that'll come our way on Friday. So the next thing we're keeping an eye on really is this cold air that's coming in. Look at the temperatures over the next 5 days. 58 tomorrow, so we're getting close to 60, then we're just downhill from there. Yeah, we're going to struggle to hit freezing both Sunday and Monday of next week. So 40 to 46 tonight, a mild night, but scattered showers, maybe a couple thunderstorms, and it turns windy. Look at this wind gust of around 45 miles an hour. Now the next 7 days, powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions. So 43 on Friday, cooler with rain showers, mixed rain showers Saturday. Then I do think we'll change over to snow showers. There will be accumulation Saturday night through Sunday. Still need to fine tune that, and then we stay chilly through early next week, Justin.
All right, Dakota, thanks. And sticking with some weather from around the nation, at least one person is dead after a tornado swept through parts of Louisiana last night. That's according to the president of one of the hard-hit parishes. He says some homes in the iconic French Quarter were lifted off the ground. No word yet on the number of injuries, though there are reports of many people seeking treatment. Overnight, search and rescue teams combed through debris in damaged neighborhoods. In a tweet, Louisiana's governor said, quote, "My prayers are with you in southeast Louisiana tonight. Please be safe." In the morning, the National Weather Service will send survey teams out to survey the damage. And President Joe Biden is traveling to Brussels, Belgium today. The White House says his main objectives are helping with the Ukrainian people to defend themselves, imposing and increasing costs on Russia, and reinforcing the Western alliance. Biden is flying in from an emergency NATO summit in Ukraine. Ukraine says some 100,000 people are trapped in the Bydgoszcz city of Mariupol. Other Ukrainians are battling to protect the capital, Kiev, and other cities. And the UN says more than 3.5 million refugees have fled to neighboring countries to escape the fighting there. And on Capitol Hill, the Supreme Court nominee is facing hours of long questioning from senators during a second day of historic confirmation hearings. Here's a look back.
Judicial philosophy and a focus on her record as a public defender. It was all part of an intense day of questioning for President Joe Biden's Supreme Court nominee, Ketanji Brown Jackson.
When I get a case, I ensure that I am proceeding from a position of neutrality.
Jackson responded to criticism from Senate Republicans that she had so far been vague about her judicial philosophy.
It's very important that judges rule without fear or favor.
Republicans focused on some of her work as a federal public defender.
Now let's talk about being a public defender. Did you consider that rewarding?
Senator, yes, I did, because public service is very important to me.
South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham was critical of the process so far, and he suggested there is a double standard when it comes to confirmation hearings.
If you're an African-American conservative woman, you're fair game to have your life turned upside down. If you express your faith as a conservative, all of a sudden you're a effing nut. And we're tired of it.
Judge Brown is expected back on the Hill Wednesday for a second day of questioning. I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Visit the Northwest Arena on Friday, June 24th, as we celebrate the end of school and say hello to summer. Learn about activities available to youth in the Jamestown area, plus end the night with fireworks at the Tarp Skunks game. Learn more online at ccsolutions716.com.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Most of the Ukrainian refugees fleeing the country had to leave at a moment's notice, leaving a lot of personal items back home in Ukraine. But for many, the thought of leaving behind their pets was unbearable. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp is covering the refugee crisis in Poland. She shows us how local animal shelters are helping refugee families.
At one Warsaw animal shelter, they are going above and beyond their regular adoption and veterinarian services. They've become a safe haven for pets of Ukrainian refugee families.
So since the beginning of the invasion, they have already helped over 160 animals here. They pretty much provide a lot of support for the animals of refugees.
The director describes their shelter as a hotel for pets, providing a place for refugees' pets to stay until they can be reunited with their families once they find a home in Poland. The refugees can even drop off their pets here daily while they figure out how to settle down in Poland. Right now, this shelter is currently housing 9 dogs and 7 Ukrainian cats, even taking in strays from Ukraine. Now, some of the dogs here at this animal shelter are part of an evacuation program that evacuated some animals out of Ukraine, which included these 2 dogs right here, which we're told they don't have any owners, but that they are up for adoption and they're trying to adopt them together. But the help for refugee families doesn't stop there.
So we're getting animals vaccinated and also chipped, so they're legalized here in Poland. The chip will find the animal if for some way it gets lost. Also, we provide a medical assessment for the animals if they got hurt during transportation, and we'll see if they need a veterinarian. And we provide any help with drugs the animals might need.
Helping families like the Rosenthals.
We got us so quickly.
They fled their home in Ukraine almost 2 weeks ago. They didn't have time to grab documents for their cat, Mutka, and to make sure the cat can legally stay in Poland, they brought her to the shelter to get her vaccinations.
She has beautiful eyes.
Even though they had to leave Ukraine quickly, they couldn't leave their family member behind.
Very
important to their kid. The boy said that he is not going to leave the country without the cat. So he told him she is my soul, so we need to make sure that she comes with us.
In Warsaw, Rachel Knapp reporting.
Rachel, thank you. The animal shelter says other NGOs are pitching in, helping shelters with vaccinating pets and strays that are being evacuated from Ukraine. Wow, certainly incredible. And you think about the human toll, obviously horrible with what's happening there, but there is that animal toll too, Dakota, where I think every week on this show we highlight how important animals are to us in our world, and there's no difference wherever you are, and maybe that's one thing that could connect folks, right, is pets, dogs, cats. I mean, you look at this story, I really feel for them, where, God forbid you have to leave your dog behind. And in many cases, when you do bring them, you don't have a place for them to go if you're living out of, say, a hotel room in Poland or something like that. God.
I mean, pets become part of your family, and, having to, the thought of leaving them behind or having to give them to somebody else because you can't take them with you. Right. It's just awful. So.
Yeah, it really is. And we thank you, Rachel. I just got to give a quick shout out to her, really doing an excellent job providing these stories and these coverage that we really couldn't get anywhere else without having her there on the ground. So thanks to her and the folks at Lilly Broadcasting for making that possible. And we thank you for joining us today for WNY News Now. We want you to connect with us across all of our platforms, and it's so easy to do it. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at WNYNewsNow.com, and at WNY News Now, and we'll keep you in the know. Also, when you're on the go, it's so easy to stay in the know with our local news by downloading our free mobile app and, of course, connecting with us on channel 716 on Roku as well. Well, Dakota, let's get a final check of our weather forecast today if we can. And I know the big story is going to be that rain, that wind. A lot of people may be concerned with power outages. You think that's something we might be able to be on the lookout for tonight?
Well, I mean, if power outages do happen, they'd be pretty scattered, and the wind gusts through the night will be around 40 to 45, maybe around 50 miles an hour. So actually, I do want to bring up the wind advisory very quickly and show that to you if I can here. So on your screen, you should see the wind advisory. Well, maybe. But anyway, there's a wind advisory until 2 a.m. for Chautauqua County, and you'll see that the winds will start to increase through the evening hours, and then it turns colder by the weekend, Justin.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that 31 on Sunday, winter cold, it's back. We can't escape it. Dakota, thanks. That's going to do it for us. We'll leave you with this live look over downtown. Grab your umbrellas. We'll see you back here tomorrow.